Hello and welcome to another modern video. Today we're going to be trying out an idea that I've been thinking about for a minute, and that is main decking Endurance in Amulet. This card is absolutely fantastic and it just continues overperforming in the actual metagame. Is a key card against Living End, against stuff like Blue-Red Murktide, and it just, even when it's not so good, it's still pretty good, like for example against Blue-White Control and stuff like that. So because of that, I've been trying to fit more copies of the card in my deck list, and also, trying to main deck one card just to see how it feels like. We're going to be cutting one Cultivator Colossus to make room for it, so we're going to have the second Colossus in the sideboard, as you can see over here. In order to make it a little bit more reliable, or to see the card a little bit more often if we need it, we have access to Eladamri's Call, another card that I think it lines up fairly well in Amulet. You want access to more copies of Dryad, you want access to more copies of Primeval Titan anyway, and just having access to a card that can grant you that without having to, pay for your pact, or without stretching your mana too much by getting double blue with Tolera West is kind of nice. We are making the necessary adjustments, so you're going to see that we are hedging our mana a little bit more towards white, so you're going to see more Celestial Sanctuaries, you're going to see Borders Garrison, more fetch lands, Temple Gardens, 2 copies, and Caviar Corsos instead of Hallowed Fountain. Red and white are always, just because of how the mana base in Amulet is designed, they're always the easiest colors to splash. So, whenever you're trying to splash white, it's doable. Like, it's not like you're not super excited, or it's not super easy to do, but it's definitely doable. And the same is true for red as well. Like, trying to splash black it's another story, but yeah, those are the colors that it's easier to splash and easier to make work. We're also adding, more copies of Cavernous Souls, and that's simply what we're trying to do. You're going to see that we're only playing one Valakut. That is always, of course, because we're trying to have more white sources for Eladamri's Skull. If you're trying to splash red for, whatever reason that may be, then, you can play more copies of Valakut, and that is just some extra free red sources that you get to play, which is nice. In the sideboard, we're including a couple of copies of Rest in Peace. Living End is a problematic matchup, and it's a very popular and just very, very good deck overall. So the Graveyard Head is definitely welcome. Same is true against Murktide. Dismember against Yawgmoth, against mirror matches, against Druid decks, like anything that Dismember is good against. And more often than not, Magus of the Moon is what we're going to be trying to kill with this. Extra copy of Cultivator Colossus, as I was saying earlier. 2 Forces of Vigor, Endurance, because card's great. 1 copy Tireless Tracker. 1 Dragon Lord Ramoka, an interesting card. Like, in theory, lands up against Murktide in a very good way, because you can cast it and your opponent can't counter it, whether you have Cavern or not, doesn't really matter. And then it being a 5/7 means that it survives and Holy Hit, which is nice. Unclear how good this card really is going to be, so I'm excited to try it out. I don't think it's worth splashing for, but since we're already playing Eladamri's Call, we actually have like 15 white sources or something if we count the Cavernous Souls. So it's kind of easy to make work with using this mana base specifically. 1 copy of Engineered Explosives, Emrakul the Promised End, which gains a pretty large stock when we have access to the Eladamri's Call in the main deck, right? So basically, effective extra copies of Emrakul's the Promised End are welcome. And then the 4th copy of Cavernous Souls and Bujukubo against the control matchups and the Graveyard strategies, respectively. So we're going to be trying this through a Modern League. Let's see how things work out. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, of course. And if you're interested in checking out, me playing any deck of your choosing, or if you want to support the stream via Patreon, or doing a dono deck list, or coaching, or something like that, you can find all of the information about that in the description down below. See you for round number 1. All right, round number 1. So we can go turn 1 Saga of the Amulet, then play Misty, then play Windswept Heath, and by turn 3 we're going to have 5 mana. That's close. If we find a bounce land, we just get there. We can always just Saga to get Expedition Map, so I think this is worth keeping regardless. Basic Mountain, Monkey, Bounce land would be nice. Cavern of Souls. Okay. Here's hoping to dodge turn 2 Blood Moon. With my opponent going basic Mountain into Ragavan, it makes me think that turn 2 Blood Moon could be my future. Just don't get a Temple Garden here, I guess. Grazer. Postchamp. Misty Rainforest. Okay, so maybe Blood Moon is not that likely now. Oh, basic forest? Yeah, Blood Moon is likely again. Roller coaster of emotions. Oh yeah, this is very much a turn 2 Blood Moon. This is very, very much a turn 2 Blood Moon. Yep. Okay. I don't think I want to blow this up now. Ugh, that's disgusting. Alright, pass the turn. Not too much to do here, and next turn we're gonna get 2 Cavern of Souls, I guess. So this is just like Ponza, apparently. Nothing like firing off a lead with Amulet and immediately getting paired against Ponza. There's just something special about it, you know. So Saga is a dead card here. Taking 5. Monkey gets an Amulet. Okay. So if we find a bounce land, we win, which is neat. So we have to dodge Fury, because Fury kills my Dryad, which kills my hopes of winning this game. But if we dodge Fury, we dodge second Blood Moon, and we also find a bounce land off the top, then we can actually win this game. Easy peasy. They play out Sock and Sand. That's probably bad news for me. Clothis doesn't do anything. Untap land. That's scary. Play another Clothis. Come on. Renin 6. Also not scary. So if they have Lightning Bolt, they can just minus. So I guess it's correct for me to block the monkey. Oh no, because they could have Bone Crusher. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to play around Bone Crusher. And we need to find exactly a bounce land here. They can't cast that. They're 1 mana off. That's funny. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we either find bounce land and we win, or we don't and we lose. Ping me. Okay. Opponent passes. Drum roll. Bounce land. Easy game. I'd even say the easiest of games. Opponent finds their land. Here is this. Here's more of this. Bounce here. Float mana. Yeah. Pact for prime time. Play prime time. Yes. And I think here we're gonna go Garrison Stronghold. And what am I trying to do? We're just gonna go Valakut Basic Forest, I guess. Because we actually drew both of our lands. So swing. Attack opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I guess with the triggers, I want to kill Ren and the Blood Red Elf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That leaves my opponent with only 5 things. Valakut Basic Forest. Ren and 6. Blood Red Elf. So that's what nets the most mana. Otherwise, my opponent just has a free block with the Clothis. So unless their last card is Lightning Bolt and they draw another Lightning Bolt, we are good, I think. Alrighty. I got no more plays, opponent. You go ahead. Am I dead or not? That's a land, so I think there's no one card that kills me here. The opponent could find Blood Moon here. If they Blood Moon or Magus, then we could be in trouble. They shock? Well, that's terrifying. See some Pyro. It's very good. That's very good. Okay. So I guess I'm dead to Bolt. And that was their top deck. Because they could have played that last turn. Find another Blood Moon. So we're going to be paying for Pact here. And unfortunately we don't have enough. Next turn we're still technically not dead. And following turn we can transmit for Boseiju. So if we find Boseiju off the top, we actually just win. Boseiju? Summoner's Pact. Huh. What does Summoner's Pact do for me? Oh, I'm just dead here, right? So I take 2 from Clothis. Yeah, I take 2. Oh no, so I can attack. Opponent blocks. And I pact for another Dryad? Because my opponent can chomp with Season Pyro plus Clothis. The issue is that as is, I am just dead on board. As is, I am simply dead on board. So I need to do something. Because my opponent can just exile their own thing. And I don't have... If I had another green card, I could Pact for Endurance and Fizzle Clothis activation. This is rough. So I can go Growth Chamber, play Growth Chamber, attack with Primetime, get land, basic forest. Yeah, that's not enough. Because then I have the Dryad, but I'm not gonna have a Titan anymore. Because Titan's trading probably with Season Pyromancer. I guess they can just block Clothis and Ragavan. Ugh. So they take 2, attack with everything. Yeah, I have to do that. Man, that Season Pyromancer into Blood Moon was absolutely devastating. And my opponent needed to find both. Like, they needed to find them in that order. If they had only found the Blood Moon, that wouldn't have been enough to get the Clothis active, which means we get an attack and we get to do more stuff. But that specific sequence of Season Pyro into Blood Moon is what gets me. They just block like that? Interesting. Oh, I guess that I'm still dead, right? So I chomp, block, take 3 plus 1 exile. Yeah, I guess that we're still dead. So it didn't really matter. Didn't really matter. My opponent played very well. Opponent played very well there. So Clothis trigger goes on the stack. They exile their own thing. Doesn't really matter. Like we're just dead here. Down to 2. Opponent just swings all. Oh, we're dead. They just want to steal hat all these me. All right, off it. Let's just let's move on to the next game. So we want these members. We want forces. We want tracker. Don't want endurance. Don't want cultivator. Maybe I want explosives. I don't think I do. And I don't think I want cold either. Let's cut 1 Cavern of Souls. Call it a day. Guess I want to cut Saga instead of Cavern. I guess endurance just lines up well against their stuff. And I want to be cutting Sagas anyway. Yeah, this is probably fine. Alright, let's go with this. Okay, round number 2. This hand is only missing a Primeval Titan. So I think I'll keep it. This hand is really hot, actually. Turn 1 Gracer into Amulet. Pretty good. Pretty good. Opponent moves to 5. I'm assuming that there's an early Blood Moon in my future. Hopefully they thought that they could go turn 1 Ragavan and that would enable their moon. That's my hope, at least. Arbor Elf. Monkey. Got him. Primetime. Pact. Just sadness. Just sadness. So I'm gonna go Asusa and I'm gonna play Celestial Sanctuary and I'm gonna bounce Crumbler Vestige. And I have 1 more land drop, but I'm gonna hold on to the Vestige because if I find, with the Asusa in play, if I find Tolaria West off the top, I actually get to go Vestige, bounce land, bounce Vestige, replay Vestige, and I get to transmute the Tolaria West. And I think that's enough to cast the Titan. Yeah, it's enough to cast the Titan too. So, opponent fetches. What do you got, opponent? Besides a very ugly basic forest. Fury. Okay. 3 and 1? Okay, I guess it didn't matter how they split it. So they have nothing. Down to 0 cards. So if I find Primetime, I win very easily from here. No! That was mine. They can actually cast it and find the Blood Red Elf. They probably should, actually. Primetime. Ugh. Gonna play this, I guess. And I guess I'm gonna protect my basic forest. I don't know why they would do that main phase. They should have waited. Vesuva has been exiled. Alright. Good. Don't care about Vesuva. Primetime. Alright. Play my Cavern. Pass the turn. I wonder why my opponent's not attacking with the Arbor Elves. Blood Moon. Opponents run pretty well, to be honest. Definitely better than us. We would have gotten there if it weren't because of this stupid monkey. Why are they not attacking? They missed 2 points so far. I guess rewarded. Because this is a much better clock. Can I please draw a real card? You have to cast the Endurance, right? You got nothing else going on. The funniest thing is there are not that many cards in my deck that they can actually cast that really do anything. So, yeah. Very lucky that they found that Endurance there. Why would they shuffle the stuff back in? They have Clothes in their deck. I don't know anymore. I just don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna play the Growth Chamber here. The reason for playing out the Growth Chamber is if I find Tulare West off the top, I can transmute for a Pact and cast the Titan. Now my opponent starts attacking, because it's a 2-turn clock. But now the Elves don't change the clock. With the information they had before, the Elves did change the... Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Can I please draw the cards that win me the game? Just gonna die here? Just gonna die. I think I played well, but like this fucking monkey, man. Anyway, see you next round. Alright. Yeah, so this hand, with any untap land, we have a turn 3 primetime with it after a turn 2 Dryad, which is oftentimes good enough. So we're gonna go turn 1 Gracer into Sanctuary, turn 2 Dryad into Sanctuary. Yeah, it's probably better to play towards drawing untap land than towards drawing exactly Amulet, right? We have so many more draws towards untap land than towards second Amulet. Towards untap land than towards an Amulet. I mean, opponent molds to 5. Alright, play our bounce land, bounce our land, pass the turn. Darslick Shores. Thoughtseize themselves. Setting up the turn to persist, huh? Easy game, easy life. So if they go for the turn to persist, we just win. Which is pretty nice. I guess we don't just win, we get to answer the Archon though, which is pretty good. Let's do Valakut. We care about bounce land. Not really. What do we actually care about here? Another Saga probably? T-West is gone, so I guess Saga is the best thing we can do. So that kills the Archon. They need another persist now. We don't have much information. We only know about Flooded Strand, so we don't know. I'm assuming that is Esper Reanimator, but I don't actually know for certain. If opponent gets another Archon, oh, they just concede. Alright, so Endurance, pretty good. Rest in Peace, pretty good. What else? BG Yawgmoth, also pretty good. I guess I'm gonna hedge. I'm bringing Cavern of Souls. Besides that, probably don't need Cultivator. Call seems pretty solid actually. Can probably shave a Gracer. Cut Boseijus. Cut Crossroads. I feel like I want to cut one more land at least. Maybe they don't have counter spells. Most versions don't play the counter spells. Expedition Maps finds me with Yawgmoth, so that's good. So I think I'm just gonna cut Azusa. Yeah, this looks good. We got an Endurance. We got a Yawgmoth. This hand seems fine. Albeit slow. Hand is certainly slow, but it doesn't look like a hand that I'm supposed to ship. Considers. Oh, so I guess my opponent may be playing counter magic, huh? Usually the versions that play consider. Oh, they kept on top. Scary. Scary stuff. Play Saga, say go. This means I don't get to hardcast the Endurance next turn, but I get to crack this Expedition map. Blue-black. Okay, maybe they're just playing blue-black Reanimator, actually. Tainted Indulgence. Imagine if we had Dryad Arbor in the deck, and I could Expedition map for Dryad Arbor, and then evoke the Endurance of the Dryad Arbor instead of having to evoke a real card here. That would be very sexy. Discard Murktide Regent. Okay, so maybe this is just straight up blue-black Reanimator. Feed the Swarm? Gross. So we're gonna crack here for BG Yawgmoth, I think. Slows down another Murktide Regent. Makes it so my opponent's hand gets pretty clunky. Now we can go Cavern on Dryad. Interesting brew my opponent has put together over there. So here's my Dryad. We're going to Sanctuary, bounce the cavern, I think. That's the turn. Now we have a redundant summoners back to pitch, which is nice. Another Tainted Indulgence. This card's pretty cool. Has enabled some brewing. Do we want to Endurance now to play around counterspell? I think I do. If I find an untapped land, Thoughtseize. There goes my summoners. Sadness. We get to swing for 4 this turn. This is a 4-turn clock, thanks to the random Slayer Stronghold. Never mind. Huh. Okay. Just gonna play my bounce land, return Bojuki Box, say go. Maybe a little bit punished. Maybe I'm too afraid of counterspell there, and I'm just not supposed to be. Like I have to assume that my opponent's playing counterspells, right? The way they've been playing heavily suggests that they may be playing some counterspells. Also, my opponent's Hall is a 2-turn clock, so next turn I can Vesuva their Hall, and following turn if they do nothing, I can just swing for 7. This is a 5/5 Murktide. Certainly looks like a 5/5 Murktide. Inquisition first, which fizzles. Okay, so now it's gonna be a 6/6 Murktide, which is still not as large as my Hall. And this is a faster clock than this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess if they find a land, this is a faster clock. Cavern on Giant. Activate my Hall. Swing for 7. Maybe they have Fatal Push. There's no way they have Fatal Push, right? Snapcaster Mage or something. Archmage's Charm doesn't do it because it says non-land. But now if they find another land, they just... Oh no, it's still not big enough. Like I go down to 1. So they cannot attack with the Hole, which is really funny. Alright. I guess they're looking for another Murktide so that they can actually block this thing. Oh, so if they found Archon. They just randomly flipped the Archon off of the Consider. So now we are not winning the race anymore. Unlucky. Unlucky. Do we have any outs here? It's not it. Brutal. Wow. My opponent still has not shown me counter magic. I don't think I'm supposed to bring in Dromoka. I think this is just fine. I still think I'm happy with this setup. And knowing my opponent is just straight up blue-black as opposed to Esper means that they don't have prismatic endings, so I'd much rather have amulets than Gracers, I think. Because that's always the thing, right? Like if your opponent's playing Teferis and prismatic endings, maybe your amulets are just not very good, so you'd much rather get the guaranteed ramp from Bracer and then like some extra fodder to sacrifice to the Archon. Well, this hand is heinous, so we're gonna ship it. This hand is, I guess I keep. Bottom that. So if they don't have discard spell on turn 1, we can just go Rest in Peace. And I don't think they have a way to get rid of it. Maybe they have like Brazen Borrower or something. Oh, they have Feed the Swarm. They showed me Feed the Swarm. I forgot about that. Yeah. Dothy. Okay. Right. Play that. I don't want to call for a Titan because they can just Thoughtseize it and then the Dothy gets me. Here's 3 damage. And here's my clock. They may have to counter this if they do have the counter spell. Because now they're losing the race. Maybe they have an answer to this. I guess we also have Saga going on. I think I just make a token. And I'm going to Sanctuary back this. We're gonna find probably... We're probably gonna find Amulet anyways. Of the Saga. Opponent draws 2. Which makes sense, they're under a ton of pressure. But now my constructs are going to become 3/3s if my opponent doesn't have... Like, if they have Feed the Swarm, like, do they kill the Saga or do they kill the Rest in Peace, right? Like, I'm just asking so many questions. So we're just playing Value Green Midrange. We just pivoted into Value Midrange, but whatever. Celestia Value Midrange. Opponent taps mana. What do you got, opponent? Tainted Indulgence main phase. You got it. What you gonna do with that? Opponent exiles Murktide region. Yep, you're not gonna cast that one anytime soon. So it doesn't surprise me too much. Dothy gets in there for 3, that's fine. We're winning this race very handily. So I'm not too scared about this thing just yet. How am I getting Expedition map off of this? Huh. I don't think so. Question mark? If I don't, I may get punished. Where we get to the point where I start missing land drops. Yeah, so I guess my opponent did find defeat this swarm, and they're trying to figure out what they're gonna swarm here. Probably you have to blow up the rest in peace. Oh, second Dothy. Okay. So make some beefy dudes, and I think I do want Amulet. As is, I'm winning the race. And I basically don't want to call until I can just cast the Titan, because if my opponent, like, if the Titan gets discarded and they get exiled to the Dothy. Oh, Rest in Peace takes precedence over Dothy? Yeah, because this thing should have a counter, but it doesn't. So I'm assuming that Rest in Peace takes precedence over Dothy. I mean, if you're not planning to kill this, you have to attack with both, right? And what's your plan otherwise? I'm probably going to call for another Endurance anyway. I love how we're wrapping up game 3 and I've used less than 4 minutes in my clock, while my opponent has used a little bit more than me. Opponent says, apologies, my hand is a clusterfuck of decisions. You're fine, opponent, don't worry about it. You were good. Another Dothy? I mean, another Dothy erases me. Another Dothy does kill me. So I need to find a bounce line if they have another Dothy. Okay. Yeah, that kills me. Unless I find an artifact. So I need to find an artifact off the top. I gotta find an artifact off the top. Or a bounce land. That's neither. Yeah. Third Dothy does it. Yeah, I knew that when I got the Amulet, that I knew that I was gonna find myself in a spot where I just would not be able to hit my land drops. Every time I do that, it just happens. I don't understand why my opponent tanked so hard on there. Like, if you have this is just so obvious to me. I wonder what other possibilities they had access to that they tanked so hard on that. Yeah, like, you're winning the race. Like, why would you not want to play the third Dothy? Like, I wonder what the rest of the hand looked like to even warrant that much time making a decision. But yeah, I guess we just got raced by some Voidwalkers. Shadow is a hell of a keyword. Shadow is a hell of a keyword. That's brutal. That's truly brutal. Yeah, I was not expecting to get raced by... My hand was extremely good against my opponent's original game plan, but I just got raced by Dothy aggro. Anyway, see you next round. Okay, round number 3. Opponent reveals Yorion. I think I'm going to keep this hand though. Let's see if we can get a little bit luckier. We have not been getting lucky so far. Temple Garden. Into Abundant Growth. We got Temple Garden, but not into Abundant Growth. I think I'm probably going to need the tokens from the Saga, because this matchup is like a little bit on the grindy side of things. Red and 6, that's a problem. Okay, so play that, Gracer, I'm gonna play out the fetch land. So we really need to find the balance land here, and there are certain cards that we can't beat. Like, I don't think we can probably, maybe we can beat Boseiju. Seems unlikely that we can beat Boseiju. Maybe. Just maybe we can beat it. When it gets back Flooded Strand. Play Beast, Name Giant. Here we go. Maybe they're playing the Eladamri's Call version. Maybe they're playing something else. That was not a particularly mana-efficient turn for my opponent. Maybe they're playing Counter Magic. Okay. Here's my token, my friend. Go to discard. Land is great there. We're definitely going to go get Amulet here. So we got Ren. See what my opponent's got. Endurance. Okay. So we can't prime time here. This is tough. So what do we want to play around? They probably have Prismatic Ending for my Amulet. which means I probably want to play Asusa. And I think I want to play Asusa and just develop my mana to play around that, which is awkward because, okay, so Asusa dies, fine. Play that, say go. Recent Reef. Okay, so this is just the Yorion deck with the Recent Reef version. Don't get an extra land drop there, which is nice. Prismatic Ending, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. They get back Misty. Interesting that they don't kill the guy. So we're gonna call for Dryad. And we miss a land drop again. Yeah, this is rough. This truly is rough. Feel like I've been getting so unlucky today. Feel like I've been getting really, really unlucky today. Just missing land drops and just things not going my way and going very, very much my opponent's way. Yeah, that's probably game. Yeah, that's probably game. Just gonna concede. We can't beat all that stuff. All right. Second Colossus is great. Tracker is okay. Emrakul is specifically for this matchup. And I guess I have to bring in these members because my opponent's playing Magus of the Moon. So Gracers come out. I want to cut a couple of Sagas. And I think that's it. Not super high in Endurance. I think I'd rather have Engineered Explosives than Endurance. This is not exciting. I don't think this matchup is very good for us. I think this the versions with Recent Reef of this deck are an absolute nightmare. Like already the Elementals matchup is very hard, like the Kahira version, and this is even worse for us still. The good thing is that they don't have too many... Ugh, yeah, this hand's terrible. Ship it. This hand's unkeepable. Okay, we're gonna keep this one, and we're gonna bottom that, bottom Emrakul, I think. So, play that. Again, I think that we're gonna need the help from the construct tokens. But yeah, multiple times today we've found ourselves in situations where we need like some specific card to come up, and my opponent only wins if they have like some specific combination of cards. Like against the red-green, against the Ponza deck was the worst, right? Like they need to have exactly Season Pyro into Blood Moon, and they had exactly that. That was brutal. And then against the Reanimator deck, we had the perfect hand against their normal game plan, and then they just happened to draw a bunch of Thoughty Voidwalkers instead. And even with that, we still had outs to win with a bounce land, but we just failed. So I feel like we've been getting a little bit unlucky today. Turn 1 Prismatic Ending. Let's go with Ursa Saga and say go. This is bad against March of Fatherworldly Light. Man. Okay. That actually don't care too much about. If they have a Ren and 6 to go with that, that's a whole different story. But don't care too much about my... Yep, that's a whole other thing. That combo is going to be hard to beat now. And we have no good way of pressuring this. Yep, that doesn't do anything at all. I think we're just dead. It's always tilting when they have like the one of the... I think they play like 2 or 3 Bosejus and they play the 4 Rens in the 80 card deck. It's always pretty tilting. Yep. We're running out of basics pretty quickly here. Now they can kill the Dryad. This is so devastating. So they should wait until I play the bounce land here, and they should kill the Dryad now. Because I can't Titan now. I mean, it's not that it matters anyway. But yeah, we have no one card that saves us here. So I'm not gonna concede just yet because my opponent doesn't know that. So I don't know, maybe they'll do something stupid, but maybe they just like play a Recent Reef or something. And then we get to dismember the Recent Reef and just go from there. If we get to answer the Ren and 6. But if they just Boseiju the Dryad, we have no odds. Because we have run out of fetchables for Boseiju. And we have like where we're going, our hand doesn't go anywhere. I mean, we just multi 5, right? Fury. All right, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. This is not my league. This is definitely not my league. Okay, what do we got here? This hand is super medium, but I'm gonna keep it. So we can go turn 1 Gracer, turn 2 Azusa. And it kind of looks like this hand is doing something, but the truth of the matter is that it's not doing too much, which is a little bit unfortunate. And the reason that I'm saying that it doesn't do too much is that this Colossus doesn't really equal to anything, right? The Expedition map means that at least we may get to draw a card from this Colossus, which is nice. Also, we're playing against Overgrown Tomb into Blooming Marsh, which is usually good news for us, unless it's Yawgmoth. They didn't play anything on turn 1, so that makes me think that it's not Yawgmoth. Which then again probably means that it's some like clunky mid-range deck, which is good news for us. Prosperous Innkeeper. No, it is Yawgmoth, just with a very slow draw. That's effectively a blank. I'm still gonna play towards drawing a Primeval Titan. So I guess if I find it, I can get a bounce land off of this, and then Cultivator at least draws me a card. The thing is, if my opponent has a somewhat quick Yawgmoth hand, we are... like, it just doesn't matter, right? Like, they just go over the top of what we're doing. The key in this matchup is Dryad, obviously. Well, that's good for us. Opponent sacking a creature here to get rid of an irrelevant Azusa is very good for us. So we at least have that going for us. Also, it's kind of hilarious, but we can force a chomp here, which is quite funny. Because we can go Expedition map, crack it for Stronghold, play Stronghold, and attack the Grist. That means we still get to do something next turn. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. This is very cool. Like, I don't always do this. I guess that they could have Geist, so I'm gonna do this right now. But keeping my opponent down on creatures is something I'm actively interested in doing, because they don't have a Yawgmoth going. But now I can't cast Cultivator this turn, which is a little bit awkward. So I really want to find an Amulet. Amulet is my best draw, bar none. They've been Messenger, so at least that's... they can't, like, 2 pieces of the combo kill us, which is nice. They may still have Geist or something. They do have Geist. I think I'm going to need more mana. So let's attack the Grist. Maybe my opponent double blocks. That would be great. Even though I have the Colossus in hand, I'm just going to go play Azusa. I guess play Bounce Land first, then... yeah, this is very good for me. Yeah, kill both of those. Alright, so this Boros Garrison nonsense ended up working out. So Bounce Land first. Bounce my Tolera West. Play Azusa. And then I want to play my non-trigger one. Yeah, play my non-trigger one. Play the trigger one. And now we can transmute if we want to. Or we can just... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I can just make a hasty Cultivator. So we're gonna have to actually play out the Slayer Stronghold, which is a little bit awkward. Because it means that I get 1 less land out of the deal. I guess I could just find Primetime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I find Primetime, I can't haste, which is kind of awkward. But if I Colossus and I want to draw a card off the T-West, then I need to play it out. And if I don't find the bounce land, then I may not be able to transmute the T-West later. So we're in a little bit of a weird spot. My draw step is going to dictate a lot of about what I do. I think opponents in the tank about whether to kill the Azusa or not. The answer is probably no. Yeah, Plusin is probably better for them. Take 4. Hey, that's pretty good draw. So let's just cast this bad boy. And I think I'm sort of interested in gaining life here. So we're gonna go Crossroads, Growth Chamber. Bounce this, play that, play this, haste Primetime. We're obviously gonna kill the Grist here. But we may die to Yawgmoth into Cord, for what's worth. And let's get some manas into play. Let's bounce there. So being ahead on life doesn't really do anything for me. But I think I may want to use a bunch of mana next turn, so I'm just going to play that out. Even though it means that I'm not going to be able to draw too many cards from the Colossus. If they just have another Grist, then I don't think I care too much. If they have Yawgmoth into Cord, I actually just die. That's a Yawgmoth. Do we also have the Cord? Well, I guess now they can't Cord, actually. Because they don't have triple green. So opponent can't Cord here. They reset Geist. Life total remains the same. But they can't get ahead on green mana, quote unquote. Or untap creatures. So they don't really achieve anything here. And if they sack too low, then I just blow them out. So this is Transmit for Dryad plus 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus Haste Cultivator. So we may be okay here. Azusa's gonna die, but Azusa doesn't matter. Oh, they might find untapped green source into Young Wolf. If they find untapped green source into Young Wolf, I lose. So they should definitely dig for that. Yep. They have one more draw towards both of those cards. Only one of them doesn't do it. They need untapped green source into exactly Young Wolf. And if I get to untap, I'm going to win. Alright. Opponent continues to execute their combo. And we see why this matchup is not great for us, right? It's just, look at all what we did, and our opponent, like, we could still die right now. Because we just don't have very good ways of interacting. It looks like my opponent finally found it. Hopefully it's another Ignoble Hierarch or a Burst of Paradise or something like that. But if they do have Young Wolf, then I'm just going to concede. That's kind of cool. The Phyrexian. Oh, that's cute. So now they can Cord. Ah, that's really cute. So now they can Cord for X equals 1 and I lose if they have it. Or they get just like, they just get more looks towards, what's his name, right? Yeah, it looks like they have the Cord. Neat. Well played by my opponent. Well played by my opponent here. Alright. So, game 1, matchup is bad. Game 2 and 3, matchup is absolutely miserable. This is probably like our single worst matchup out of all the tier decks in the current Modern format right now. So, yeah. So they have Necromantia. They have multiple copies of Force of Vigor. Like, this matchup is an absolute nightmare for us. I'm bringing in I guess I can bring in Emrakul. I haven't actually tried this out just yet. But this gives me an out to my opponent Necromantia in my Primeval Titans. I don't think Endurance is very good. I don't think Tracker is very good either. Rest in Peace is fine though. I do like Rest in Peace. And I don't think Gracer does too much either. Let's go with something like this. They also have Magus post sideboard sometimes. And they have like a million ways to get the Magus. Like, this matchup is just a nightmare. So I think, do I play into Force? I think I'm not going to play into Force. Let's name Giant here. So we're not going to play into Force. I guess I can try to overwhelm the Force, but I think once I play the Azusa here, my opponent's probably, if they have the Force to kill the Amulet, they're probably going to use it there. So I'll make some mana. Here's Azusa. I mean, this hand is very good for what's worth. This hand is very, very good for what's worth. Alright. Show me that you got it. Show me that Force of Vigor. They get a black source? Yeah, they 100% have the Magus now, right? They get a basic Swamp. In their deck that's trying to cast triple green cards and like double and triple green cards, they go and fetch for basic Swamp. This is like the most obviously telegraphed Magus of the Moon that I have ever seen in my life. The good thing for us is that it's not going to matter too much. So, here's a prime time. Yes. Borders Garrison, Slayer Stronghold. My opponent obviously has a Magus in hand, so we're gonna... I think I'm just gonna bounce the Saga, so it doesn't die to Magus. Yeah, let's just do that. Swing for 9, say yes. Oh, I had lethal. I guess I didn't have lethal. I can bring my opponent at 1, but it's probably fine. So let's do T-West Growth Chamber. Yeah, this allows me to transmute for a pact, I guess. We also get to call. So now my opponent's going to get their Magus into play, but yeah, it's gonna be chump blocking soon enough. So they just play Magus and I just swing with Prime Time. They know that I have another Prime Time. Don't even want to show me. But I know it's there, opponent. I know it's there. I think Explosives may be a little bit too slow. And Prime Time is just so much better than Cultivator. And even in the face of Necromantia, I'd much rather draw the Prime Time than the Cultivator. There's an argument for Tracker, but the issue with Tracker is that my opponents, they are not going to want to side out their Grists, right? This hand is very interesting. I think I'm going to keep this hand, actually. They also have Thoughtseize, that's right. I forgot that they also have Thoughtseize. Matchup is indeed pretty bad for the good guys. Here's my Expedition map. So I think I'm going to go turn 2 Temple Garden untapped. Say go. Because that's the best way to play around Magus. Now Emrakul only costs 11. Well, that's good for me. Okay. Well, change of plans now. Because we found like a way to... we found a way of getting an Asusa or something. The good thing is that my opponent gets got by their own Magus. At least. Strangleroot guys. Oh, that's a really good draw. Love to see it. Play around Magus, or nah, we just have to do this. Because if they have Magus here, I basically put a land back into my hand. But at the same time, okay, that's not that worse. That bad, I mean. But at the same time, like, this allows me to cast a Prime Time this turn. Okay, so that kills Dryad. Pointing down to 2 cards in hand. We take 4. Call. I'm gonna call for Dryad. Play Boseiju. Play Dryad. Play land. We may get there. Maybe. Maybe. Opponent unsuspiciously fetches for a basic forest. That's a bird. Bird's fine. Insect token, milling cord. There's the Magus. Okay. Right on time. Gonna crack, find the basic forest. Play the forest. So this costs 9. I think I want to attack the Grist here. They chump with the insect token. And then they swing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, but it also means that they have to... If they want to indeed kill the Dryad, they're going to have to sack one of their other creatures. Probably Dryad Arbor. Okay, so opponent goes to combat, attacks. One thing to keep in mind is that I go to 3 here. So if I find exactly this member off the top, I can... If they don't kill the Dryad, I can pay 1 and black... Dismember Magus, and then... Oh no, we're 1 minute short of Prime Time. Never mind. Never mind. Classic. Sacked your Alice Messenger. Opponent! Come on, opponent. Come on, opponent. You gotta be better than this. You gotta be better than this, opponent. Why are you doing this to me? Anyway, we die. Yeah. Brutal. Brutal league. Whew, that was hard to do. Hopefully it was not also hard to watch. But yeah, this league was an absolute disaster. I've been playing meme decks. I've been playing like stupid versions of Amulet that suck. None of them were as bad as this league that we just played today. I think the Eladamri Skull are just not very good. At least not right now. I don't think that you can be spending turn 2 to do this. Like, this doesn't progress your game plan. To be fair, like, I feel like the deck was constructed well. In terms of, I never really struggled to cast my cards. Besides the time where I was missing land draws in my 33 land deck, obviously. But besides that, I didn't really struggle too much in terms of the color of my mana and stuff like that. So I feel like for what it was trying to do, this version of the deck was well constructed in that sense. But past that, the deck just felt super clunky. Like I was missing pieces all the time. Granted, I do feel like I got pretty unlucky and my opponents found some pretty crazy outs. But yeah, it just felt like I was just a turn too short every single time. I was a turn too short or a card too short every single time, and it just didn't get better. Like it just kept getting worse and worse. So yeah, I don't think I don't know. Like this card is so hit or miss. Like whenever I try it in the Reclaimer versions, like Eladamri Skull ends up being like absolutely fantastic. I can't really see why though. Like why is Call so good when I'm playing Elvish Reclaimer and Flagstones and stuff, and why is it bad when I'm just trying to make it fit in just like regular Amulet? It may be because of the Flagstones themselves. Maybe I'm just stretching my mana a little bit too much when this, but like I'm also stretching my mana in the Reclaimer version as well. So I can't really pinpoint the difference. You know, like I can find why things are not quite working out. Like it's at least it's not obvious to me. So if you have any ideas about it, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, I still have another version of this idea that I wanted to try out without the Eladamri Skull, so I'm going to be giving that a shot and see if that works better, because that allows for more basics, more utility lands, stuff like that. So we'll see if that lines up better, but this version was just an absolute disaster. It just I could not get a win to save my life. It was absolutely brutal. But yeah, sometimes that's the way that it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Hopefully you did enjoy the league nevertheless. If you did, make sure you hit that follow, like, subscribe, like whatever button you want to hit. Make sure you hit it though. And if you are interested in coaching, if you're interested in me playing any deck of your choosing here on the video or live on stream, if I do stream, you can find all the information you need in the description of the video down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.